Women in policing have been the subject of considerable study for the past 20 years. While women perform as well as men in various patrol assignments and situations, they still face a significant amount of disapproval from the male police personnel population. Citizens, however, have shown a greater acceptance of women in this male-dominated occupation and a greater confidence in women's abilities to effectively perform difficult patrol tasks. The Sierra Leone Police began its reform process in 1997. As part of this process, the service developed a number of key policies that seek to promote gender equality and responsiveness. The police introduced an accelerated promotion scheme and an intensive recruitment procedure to increase the hiring and advancement opportunities for female service members. Under the new direction government, a woman has occupied the position of Deputy Inspector General of Police. Elizabeth Augusta Toure, who has spent 32 years in the police force, was approved by the Police Council in June 2020. She is the first female ever in the history of...
Congratulations on your new appointment as the new Deputy IG. Did this come as a surprise?
Well, indeed, it was really a surprise to me because I was really very much eager, taking cognizance of the fact that I have really served the people of Sierra Leone for almost 32 years, committed and dedicated to my job. And when I actually got the news, I was really overwhelmed. And my first thought was, this is the time I have been looking forward to. And I'm really grateful to His Excellency the President for giving me this opportunity to actually serve as the second in command for our institution. And to the First Lady as well, because I've been working with her for the Hands of Our Girls project, and she knows my capability, my commitment and dedication to job. So I'm really grateful to everybody.
So where were you when you got the news?
Well, initially, the news was all over the media. It actually went viral, but unfortunately, it did not materialize at that time. So I was sitting, yes, patiently waiting because I'm a woman of faith, and I was of the conviction that when it comes to God's appointed time, I will definitely have this appointment.
All right, now you've spent 32 years in the police force. Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about your background. What were you doing before you joined the police force? Was it your choice, or was it something that you wanted to do, when you were young?
Yeah, interestingly, I never thought of becoming a police officer, really, though my dad was a police officer. I was born and bred in that community with my father. And my intention was actually, after graduating from the university, I was actually looking for another job. But honestly, police was not a career for me. But why? Well, I just thought that I thought that, I have to look for another option. Being that my father was a police officer, I never thought that I should also follow suit being a police officer. But interestingly, after I graduated from the university, to actually get a job was very much difficult. So I had to approach. So what did you study? Yes, I studied history and sociology at the University of Sierra Leone. After which I actually had the opportunity, I got a Shelving scholarship to pursue further studies, my master's degree at the University of Leicester. Since that time, I have been serving diligently in the force, and I have been very much instrumental in driving the vision of the Sierra Leone Police Force.
So what profession actually you wanted to be, or what actually you wanted to do after graduating? Well,
my option was, actually working in one of the bank institutions. That was actually what I did. I approached the late Inspector General of Police, Mr. Bambe Kamara, who was my dad's, squad mate, and he actually advised me that I should look at the option of becoming a police officer. So I went back. By then, my husband was with me, so I actually had to discuss with my husband. And he was also very much interested that now that I don't have a job, then I have to go for that option.
I'm still interested to how or what actually attracted you, or what was it that because you couldn't get, any job appointment from any other institution?
Exactly. That's actually because I was really eager, having graduated from university, to look for a job. So when I had that option, I had no option for that, so I decided to join the police force.
So was your father happy about it?
Yeah, by then my father was dead. By then he had passed away, really.
But did you have any conversation, before in your youthful age about, because sometimes, parents and daughters will definitely talk about this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do.
I was at the university, I never had any conversation with my parents. So the option was actually left with me to decide. But unfortunately, by then I lost my dad, and I was in courtship with my husband. So we actually discussed the option that was available for me, and I decided to go in for it.
So were you like the eldest child, that there was so much pressure on you to find the job, find something?
Yes, I was the eldest child, really. When my father passed away, I had no option. It was not really very easy for me. My mother was alone doing everything for me. So I actually decided that, I have to go for the police job.
All right, now take us through your first day at work.
My first day at work has actually been the normal work duties, schedule, I was
when you started as a police officer?
Yes, okay. When I started as a police officer, I actually, from the police training school, I had my recruit training, after which I was posted to various divisions, stations and posts to actually build on my police career. But unfortunately, even though I came in as a graduate, we were actually allowed, not recruited as graduates. So I had to, wear my police rank, which was constable. My first experience was at the Central Police Station, where I served as the General Duty Officer, after which I was spotted by the then Inspector General of Police, blessed memory, W.J. Safa, to be his chief clerk. So I went through that. After 6 months, we were posted to various divisions, stations, and posts. That actually enhanced my police knowledge, provided me with the requisite skills to carry out my job.
All right. Being in the police force wasn't your choice, but you had no option because you needed a job to take care of your siblings.
Yes, yes.
Now, tell us about the passion. How did you develop passion for the job? Because for some people, they'll spend 2 or 3 years and then they'll definitely be out again looking for something else.
Yeah.
So what kept you in the police force?
Yeah, what actually kept me in the police force, when we joined, I was not alone. I also had my colleagues from the university that actually, motivated me. I was there, we were working together, and we actually built that confidence that this is now our career, we have to pursue it and make sure that we deliver to the expectation of members of the public. And I've all these years enjoyed being a police officer because, I have served as role model to other female police officers. Like I said earlier, I'm a woman who is always committed to my job, and task oriented. When they give me any assignment, I make sure that assignment is accomplished. And I believe that even when I am not, I don't have the knowledge, on specific issues in the police force, I normally have to consult my colleagues, and they will take me through, we will share ideas, and we make sure that at least we deliver whatever is required from us.
If you ask a teenager or maybe a graduate, a young graduate, if you ask them about what they want to do or what type of job they definitely want to do, they'll never mention something like, a police officer. Now, tell us about the image back then in your days about the police force.
Well, the police force, actually, when we joined the police force, it was more or less a male-dominated institution. At that time, we had very few women who were actually assigned to specific duties, in terms of school crossing, charge office, female lockup, etc., etc. But with the leadership, the past leadership, there has been a lot of transformation as far as, creating an equal platform for men and women in the organization. As I speak to you, we have a good number of female police officers now at strategic location, even at the executive management board. Although the number, we are still striving to have more female at that level, but thank God we have fair representation. At this moment, we have 3, and we also have women as local unit commanders, and women, manning various departments as heads of departments, stations and posts.
All right. Now, you came into the police force as a graduate, but there were other women who came into the police force, without nothing.
Yeah.
No degree, no diploma, yes. Nothing like that. So how was that a concern for you, for other police officers? What did you do to be able to inspire others to be able to get education, for them to be able to move up the cadre?
When we actually joined the police force, we had a reasonable number of females, and we were posted to various stations. Honestly enough, in as much as we actually came in as graduates, we were not all that experienced in terms of policing. So we actually tap into the knowledge of those women who were assigned to us as mentors, and I actually learned quite a lot from them. We more or less, we use that opportunity to actually, set the pace for them, to encourage them. I could remember when I was at the Central Police Station, there were few women I was working with who were not actually graduates from university. But my presence alone actually motivated most of them that it is hard time now that we have seen these young graduates, female graduates coming into the police force. It's high time for us to actually improve. And since then we've had a good number of people, that have actually applied for study leave, to actually pursue further courses, and they are doing fair enough in the organization.
All right. It took you 32 years for you to attain this new position as Deputy Inspector General of Police. Yeah. Now, what comes to mind is, do I have to wait that long to become, a new Deputy IG, or do I need to stay that long in the police force for me to be able to attain, maybe other positions? Someone who's down there will definitely think, it took her so long. Some people don't even have that time. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm a woman of strong faith. I believe that I have my destiny. When the time is ripe, it will come. So I was never discouraged at any given point. Even when I had my obstacles, my challenges, that actually gave me the enthusiasm to continue to work, being a committed and dedicated female police officer. And I actually I prayed for it, and I actually look up to God Almighty. But at no given point in time was I actually, downcast because I have not actually attained this position.
There's no doubt that you've seen the good and the bad, yeah. Within that 32 years. Yeah. Take us through, how long did it take you from being a constable to be, fighting through the ranks and all that? It might be interesting for us.
Well, we actually applied to join the police force, and we were actually, expecting that we would have come in as cadet officers. But that did not materialize, so we actually decided to.
Was there a specific reason why?
Well, we had initially they had some graduates were recruited as cadet officers, but because some did not actually perform, so there were a whole lot of issues. So when the adverts were out, we were actually given the option to come in as recruits, to actually have the opportunity.
Did I ever dampen your spirit?
No, because it was an opportunity for me to actually land the job. We know people who have come in as graduates, they never went through the ranks, and we know the challenges, the difficulties they have been faced with in terms of, policing, especially when we are working with men and women who are experienced on the ground, so for me, it was an opportunity for me to actually land the job, to make me better equipped for any challenges I might face.
All right. Yeah. There are other women who have who hold senior positions in different institutions who would tell you that immediately I graduated from college when they got their new job, especially when they're graduates, especially when they're women. It took so much, there was so much bickering, there was so much pressure on them because the men felt threatened. Did you ever face anything like that?
Well, one thing about me is my human relationship is very good. I believe that, even at the workplace, I have to interact with men and women. And it will interest you to know that, I'm more closer to the men than women.
Why?
Yeah, because, I have to tap into their knowledge. And even with the women, the men, they have actually embraced me because of my good rapport, my interaction with them. So I've learned quite a lot from them.
32 years, there was no...
There were women, but I actually wanted to break the ceiling, wherein, to the marginalization among the men, that the organization is a no-go area for women. So I actually wanted to bridge that gap so that at least men can actually understand that in as much as they have to provide service to the people of Sierra Leone, the women also have a stake in terms of service delivery.
That was your own strategy?
Yes, that was my strategy. So I got closer to the men to let them understand that it's hard time for them to accept the women.
So do you think women who don't go closer to men, especially when they find themselves in a male-dominated profession, they'll definitely face challenges? Is it a must that you should?
I've seen it, yes. Like I said, I had an opportunity to work in various stations and posts. If you don't get closer to them, they have this mindset. Like I was saying, they have this mindset that the institution is a no-go area for women. So you should come up with a strategy that will actually bridge that gap. So I thought the best strategy was to get closer to them so that we have time to sit, to discuss, and let them understand that in as much as we appreciate their role in terms of service delivery, they also need to appreciate the women, that they have the stake in providing security and safety for the people of Sierra Leone. So that was how I actually bridged the gap, with my presence, even when I had the opportunity, I actually made sure that I also brought other women, to get closer to the men so that at least they can understand that we have a stake as far as service delivery is concerned.
All right. Now, you've told us about how your dad was a police officer and you never thought in your dreams that you would ever be a police officer. Now, was there anyone that you admired, a role model before?
Sure. Yes, I joined the police. There was Reverend Rex Johnson and Mrs. Kadi Fakondo. So actually, when I joined, I was really encouraged by Mrs. Kadi Fakondo. For me, she is my role model up to this time.
Okay.
Because she actually identified me and we are very close. She took me through, the policing, and we had time to actually sit and discuss some of her challenges, and I actually had the opportunity to learn quite a lot from her experience being a police officer. And up to this time, I'm still tapping into her experience as a retired police officer.
So what unique qualities did you see in her for you to want to become like Madam Kadi Fakondo?
For me, she was really exemplary. This is a woman, like I said, human relationship is very good. Yes. And she was very much determined to actually bring more women on board. She went out of her way to encourage more women, to identify those who are competent, and even providing us with mentoring and coaching, so at least we can actually learn from her. So that's actually spurred me to actually accept the force and to actually move forward in terms of improving on my performance and making sure that we bring other women on board.
So what does the work of the DIG entails? Or let's say, what's your job description?
Well, as the Deputy Inspector General of Police, I'm the principal advisor to the Inspector General of Police. And if he's not available, I have to chair the Executive Management Board meetings. Okay.
So how political do you think is your appointment?
Well, at this stage, really, the office of the Deputy Inspector General of Police is normally approved by Police Council, and I actually went through the Police Council for my appointment.
All right. You've just briefly told us about your job description, but how much work or commitment do you think, it entails or one to attain such a position? What commitment does the job comes with?
Well, normally, there are a whole lot of commitments, to actually attain to this position, But like I always say, I have always repeat history in terms of, providing service to the people of Sierra Leone. The first female regional commander for the East region, and the first director of operations, female director of operations, and now today I'm the first female deputy inspector general of police. I actually worked as director of operations for 3 years. Immediately after the elections, I was given that appointment, and it actually entails so much being the director of operations. You have to coordinate all operational activities with the regional commanders, and you have to get all the reports on daily basis for the information of the Inspector General of Police and His Excellency, and as well as the Vice President. And when it comes to major events, you have to coordinate everything. It was quite a very useful experience for me, and I actually devoted my time, energy to it. It has never happened in the history of Sierra Leone to have a female officer. So that actually, actually exposed me. I was attending a series of meetings, meeting with various stakeholders, and I actually worked very hard to project myself in terms of, my capability, my competency. So that actually, spurred the police council members, based on the recommendation that was provided by the Inspector General of Police to give me this appointment.
Officer, haven't gone through the ranks, it means a lot of work. It means you get up odd hours, you leave home anytime you're being called upon.
Yes, I sleep with my phone.
How has your husband been coping?
Well, I always tell people that my husband is very supportive. He's also part of the security sector. He works at the prison services, So he understands the ordeals, the challenges working in the security sector.
If he hadn't been there, do you think it would have been
something? It would have been the other way for me. But not, being that he's also part of the security sector family, he actually understands that the job is very challenging. There are a lot of expectations. I should be ready at any time to take up calls and respond to those calls and the rest of it. So throughout my tenure as a police officer, he has been very much supportive of my operational activities.
In this part of the world, we're lucky because we come from extended families, and they normally help us out, in raising our children. But was it tough for you in raising your children?
Well, it wasn't really, because, like you said, we believe in extended family. Initially I was staying with my husband, and I were staying with his family. And my mother is still alive, so they actually contributed immensely in bringing up my children. So it was not really much for me as a woman.
All right. So do you ever see or do you aspire for other women maybe to lead the police force, or any other positions in the police force?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Because I believe that, very shortly I will take my exit. And as a woman, I should always have that focus that if I'm leaving, then I should not leave a vacuum. There are other competent women, in the force. And we have even spotted them, we have identified them, and they are doing remarkably well. So all this wise will be encouraging them that come 2022 or beyond, if Mrs. Toure takes her exit, then we expect more women to actually take strategic position. And it is happening. That is my dream, and will continue to pursue it. Thank God the leadership.
So in 2022?
Yes, 2022, November.
Okay.
That should be my retirement.
So I'm curious to know, because you told us about how your relationship with men, is great, or has been great over the years, and still great, as now you're the new deputy DIG. Yeah. But what about other women, apart from Madam Kadifa Kondo? What about other women, coming up in the police officer, in the police force? What's your relationship, or how are women perceived in the police force?
Well, like I said, we have actually created a level playing field for men and women in the institution. Before, decades back, it was a no-go area for women. Even when we had a few women, it was very difficult to actually, spot them out. They were marginalized. They were given, specific roles to perform as female police officers, unlike the men, you know. So what I have been doing over the years is to actually encourage more women through mentoring and coaching. You know, we have the female staff association that exists in the police force. As I speak to you, I have even, you know, asked the senior police officers. I'll be addressing some female police officers at the Kingston officers mess tomorrow. So at least we actually work out strategies how we are going to get more women, you know, in terms of providing services in the divisions, strategic deployments, and even when it comes to administrative and operational functions. So we are encouraging them. I'm not alone. I have the likes of Gloria Tawali, AIG Memuna, and other female superintendent officers who are very much enthusiastic, you know, for us to actually promote more women. So we are working together, and we have actually, you know, engaged our women that it's high time to actually display their potentials. You know, they should not be sitting back looking forward to the men to do the job. And we have been doing that, you know, for over
it's
a while.
always tough, especially in a male-dominated profession. Were you faced with, because maybe other women might say, they might not say it openly, but women might have experienced, you know, maybe any harassment, you know, in the police force. Did you ever face that?
No, I never faced it, and I never encouraged it, because I had my focus. You know, that was.
Were you aware that other women?
Yeah, they did, of course. Other women, yeah, they face, although they don't come out openly to make any official reports about it. That is why I said we have the Female Staff Association, and most times when we meet, like tomorrow we are meeting, we ask them what are some of the challenges you are faced with, and we always make sure that at least we work together to address those challenges. You know, it's a platform for women, not only meeting for us to share our experience on the job and some of the challenges they are faced with. So at this top level, we can take it up at management level.
All right, so do you, what would you say to people who think, you know, police officers are just there to answer to the calls of top government officials?
No, well, I don't think so. We have actually changed the narrative over time. You know, no, it used to be, but at least now because through engagement and actually having the men and women to understand that they should be very much professional and they should not be actually answering to powers above. We have actually discouraged that among the men and women of the Sierra Leone Police Force. They should be very much professional. In the event they shortfall or they are queried because of performing their duties, then they have to seek redress through the Inspector General of Police or the Deputy Inspector General of Police.
All right, so what would you expect life to look like after retirement in 2022?
Well, after retirement, really, I have my focus. I don't really want to disclose it now, you know, because I'm still a serving member of the Sierra Leone Police Force and I have to be apolitical. But I have my focus for the election, for my retirement. Hopefully, I will join the rest of my family. I have served so much, and I believe it's hard time for me to go come 2022 to have my rest and enjoy the rest of my life with my family members, friends, and well-wishers. So but I have my plan for I don't want to disclose it now.
All right. Would you ever aspire to be, you know, the first female IG if the opportunity arises? Yes,
if I have the opportunity, I will be very much grateful. But as at now, there is an Inspector General of Police. I believe I should be his trusted lieutenant. I have to give him all the support so that at least we can actually change the narrative of the Sierra Leone Police Force to have the force very professional, people with integrity, and people who can actually answer to the call of members of the public. That is actually what we want to achieve.
And what's your working relationship like with him?
Yeah, it's very cordial. He's my brother. You know, we've been together for long. And I just want to assure him that, you know, I will give him all the support with the rest of the EMB members so that he can also achieve, he being the Inspector General of Police at this moment, we have to give him all the support. But our relationship is very cordial.
So any word of inspiration to any woman who would want to join the police force? Maybe I would definitely want to.
Yes, well, I have been doing that before. When I was the Director of Gender, we actually went out to the institutions, the university, other tertiary institutions to encourage more women to join the police force. My message to the women of Sierra Leone force is that, you know, we have won the battle as having the first female Deputy Inspector General of Police. I always say my appointment is not only for me or my family, it's for the entire women of Sierra Leone. So at this moment, I actually want to dedicate the office of the Deputy Inspector General of Police to the women of Sierra Leone, the girls and women of Sierra Leone. Give me the support so that at least we can make a mark. It has never happened. This is the first time. So we want to actually have more, you know, elevations for women in different institutions. So I want to appeal to them to give me the support. I'm always available. My doors are always open to them. If they have their problems, to Her Excellency, the First Lady, I want to thank her very much because she has always been with me. She stood by me during my trying times, and today I have achieved to this level.
So, wait, you haven't told us about those trying times.
Well, those trying times, like, for me, I was really long overdue for this office. You know, we had past governments, you know, coming in into, you know, but I was never given the opportunity. So that is why I said I'm really grateful to His Excellency for the. It is a long-awaited position for me, you know. But thank God it is here. It is God's time, appointed time, you know. There were a whole lot of challenges, you know, especially, like I said, in a male-dominated institution. Nobody will want to appreciate you, even if you are doing your job because, you know, giving all what you need to give. But some will not even appreciate you because you are a woman. But I have actually proven to the men and women of the Sierra Leone Police Force that we, the women, if we are given the opportunity, we are also capable and we can deliver. That is what I have been yearning for, and thank God I've been able to achieve that. So this is actually going to create this, set the pace for other women.
Do you feel fulfilled?
I feel very fulfilled. Yeah, I feel fulfilled because my determination was we actually have to break the glass ceiling that this office should never be occupied by women.
By men.
By women.
Okay.
Yes, but we have actually, you know, come to this stage where we will have the first female Deputy Inspector General of Police, you know, as occupying this office. So I'm really grateful to God Almighty. I'm really also grateful to everybody.
And would you hope and pray that it stays that way, that when you leave in 2022, another woman will definitely...
Yeah, I'm praying for it. And we will encourage more women. If we have to go beyond that, we will appreciate it very much. And we have to work towards that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.